Ladies and gentlemen, today I invite you to step into a world where the loudest voice isn't always the most powerful. In this world, it is not the noise that wins battles, but the quiet, focused mind. It is not endless talking that builds success, but the silent discipline of action. We live in an age where everyone wants to be heard, but very few are truly making moves that matter. Real power is not in shouting your goals to the world. It is in achieving them without the need for applause. There is something remarkable about the one who walks with quiet determination, who listens more than he speaks, who works while others waste time in words. That kind of person understands a truth that few ever grasp. When you master the power of silence and let your results speak for you, that is when you rise. That is when you win. In the quiet moments of life, where the noise fades and the distractions dissolve, there lies a power often overlooked, a force more potent than most ever realize. It is the power of silence. In a world obsessed with attention, noise, and constant expression, silence stands as a mighty, disciplined ally of those who truly seek greatness. It is in silence that ideas are born, visions are nurtured, and destinies are forged. From the moment we rise, we are bombarded by chatter, news, opinions, arguments, noise from every corner of life. Many fall into the trap of thinking that speaking more, posting more, and sharing every thought somehow brings progress. But true impact is not measured by how loudly you speak, but by how deeply your actions resonate. The person who understands this principle holds an extraordinary advantage. Less talk, when coupled with more purposeful action, leads to far greater achievement. Reflect on your own life. How many dreams have been spoken aloud, shared excitedly with others, but never pursued with the same intensity? How often have grand ideas lost their power because they were scattered into the wind through careless speech, rather than protected and cultivated in the silence of your mind? Silence is a sanctuary where your true power can grow, unshaken by outside influence. When you speak less, you conserve energy. You redirect that energy inward, to your thoughts, your discipline, and your plans. You begin to see clearly the path ahead, undistracted by applause or criticism. Silence gives you the ability to observe, to study others, to understand without being understood. And in that understanding, you gain an edge. You develop the strength of patience, the resilience of those who are not dependent on recognition to validate their journey. Think of the most successful individuals, not the ones who chase fame, but those who build legacies. They are not the ones constantly announcing their goals. They are the ones whose actions speak with thunder, even when their voices are barely heard. They work in silence, they grow in silence, and when they emerge, the world takes notice. Their silence was not weakness. It was preparation. It was a declaration of strength, without uttering a word. In your personal journey, there will be temptations to talk, to tell others what you're about to do, to defend your ideas before they're ready, to seek approval before the seed of. Your dream has even sprouted. Resist that temptation. Protect your dreams like a precious flame. Let silence be the fertile soil in which your vision grows strong roots. Let your progress unfold not with grand declarations, but with steady, focused effort. There is another kind of strength found in silence, the strength of self-control. The ability to hold your tongue in moments of anger, to stay calm in the face of provocation, to listen when others expect you to argue. These are marks of true character. The one who can remain silent when others are reckless with their words possesses a rare and noble mastery. That person has already won half the battle, because silence allows the mind to respond, not react. And a calm, clear response is often the difference between success and failure. In relationships, in business, and in personal growth, the individual who speaks less and listens more begins to understand others deeply. And when you understand people, you gain influence. You learn their fears, their desires, their motivations. You begin to see what truly moves them. That insight gives you the power to lead, to inspire, to shape outcomes without ever raising your voice. But silence is not only a strategy, it is a teacher. In moments of quiet, you meet yourself, you confront your weaknesses, you hear the voice of truth that is drowned out by noise, and in that truth lies your opportunity to grow. You begin to realize that all the external noise is just that, noise. It cannot build your future. Only your decisions, your persistence, and your focused action can. Speak when necessary, and let your words carry weight because they are rare and purposeful. Let your reputation be built not on promises, but on results. When you walk into a room, let your presence say more than your mouth ever could. When others waste time talking about what they will do, use that time to do it. When they seek approval, seek progress. When they chase attention, chase mastery. And know this, silence is not the absence of activity. It is the foundation of powerful movement. It is the stillness before the storm of success. It is the discipline before the breakthrough. Speak less. Not because you have nothing to say, but because you are preparing to show the world something undeniable, something no words can match. As you move forward in life, remember the strength that lies in the quiet path. It is not the path of the timid. It is the path of the focused, the determined, the wise. In a world where noise is currency, choose silence as your investment. The returns will echo through everything you touch. Let your actions roar louder than any voice, and let your silence remind the world that true power does not need to shout. It only needs to win. There is an incredible power that lies dormant in each of us, an invisible force waiting to be awakened, not through noise, not through boasts or empty promises, but through focused, determined action. Life will present endless opportunities to talk, to explain, to justify, to make grand declarations about what we plan to achieve. But the real achiever, the true winner, does not concern himself with telling the world what he is about to do. He quietly, confidently, and consistently takes action. He moves forward step by step, knowing that results will always speak louder than words ever could. When you speak less and do more, you align yourself with the laws of success. You conserve your energy. You channel it toward meaningful work instead of scattering it through unnecessary conversations. Every word you speak drains a little of your mental force. When you use words carelessly or constantly talk about your ambitions without backing them with action, you weaken the drive that could have been used to fuel your journey. But when you hold back, when you keep your vision close to your heart and allow your hands, your effort, and your results to speak for you, you become unstoppable. Look at your own life. Think of the times you told others your plans. Perhaps you felt a sense of accomplishment just by saying it. That's a dangerous illusion. Speaking of your goals should never feel like progress. It is not. Progress happens when you act. When you wake up early and train while others are sleeping, when you turn off distractions and work in silence, when you fail, learn, and try again without needing sympathy or attention. That is where bold results are born, not in noise, but in quiet dedication. The world is filled with talkers. They fill rooms with their opinions. They dominate conversations with promises. They craft plans and post about them endlessly. But time reveals the truth. Years go by, and their words remain the only evidence of what they intended to do. Nothing materializes because they traded discipline for applause. They wanted recognition before they had results. But the doer, the one who acts without talking, builds silently. And when the time is right, he stands on a foundation that no one saw being built, but everyone can see now. That is true power. To live a life of quiet focus is not to live in fear or submission. It is to walk in strength and clarity. It is to know your destination so clearly that you don't need to explain it. You simply work toward it, undistracted and unshaken. You protect your energy, you keep your circle tight, and you let your growth unfold behind the scenes. And while others are wasting time seeking validation, you are creating value. That difference over time becomes massive. Quiet focus compounds. It grows stronger, deeper, and more unstoppable with each silent hour of effort. There's also peace in speaking less. When you stop feeling the need to announce your every move, you experience freedom. You become more mindful, more aware of your surroundings, more intentional in your steps. You are no longer influenced by opinions because you are not seeking approval. You are building something greater than what others can see, something that will one day be undeniable. And until then, you are content to grind, to prepare, to grow. Action also brings clarity. Many people stay stuck in planning, in talking, because they fear the uncertainty that comes with doing. But action teaches what no amount of conversation ever could. You learn by moving, you improve by doing, you gain strength, confidence, and wisdom by facing challenges head-on, not by discussing them endlessly. Each step you take, no matter how small, moves you forward. That forward motion is the essence of transformation. In your own life, begin today to make a shift. Speak less about what you will do. Make a vow to yourself that your next big win will be revealed through action alone. Wake up each morning and ask not what you need to say, but what you need to do. Protect your goals like treasures. Guard them from the noise of the world, and work on them like a sculptor shaping a masterpiece. Alone, quietly, with total devotion, you will notice that your confidence begins to grow, not because of what others say, but because you are keeping promises to yourself. You are becoming someone you can trust. That self-trust, that inner certainty, is worth more than all the external praise in the world. And when you eventually arrive at your destination, when your results stand tall for all to see, you will not need to speak. Your journey will speak for you. There is beauty in letting your work be the proof. There is power in holding your silence while your results echo through every room you enter. When people ask, "How did you do it?" you will smile, because you know. You know the hours, the sacrifices, the effort, the focus. You know the nights you worked in solitude, the mornings you pushed through fatigue, the days you kept going while others quit. And all of it was fueled not by noise, but by quiet, consistent action. This path is not for the faint of heart. It takes strength to be silent in a world of noise. It takes discipline to act when no one is watching. But those who choose this path are the ones who rise above. They are the builders, the creators, the leaders. Their success is rooted in the principle that doing is greater than saying, that silence is not emptiness. It is preparation, it is intention, it is strategy. So embrace the silence. Let your focus become sharper. Let your actions grow bolder. And let your results be so undeniable that you never have to explain yourself again. This is the way of the achiever. This is how you win big. Not through endless talk, but through quiet focus turned into powerful, purposeful action. In the journey of life, there comes a moment when every individual must make a critical decision, to live in the comfort of talk or to rise through the challenge of action. Many dream, many speak, many hope, but only a rare few translate that inner desire into movement, into real, tangible progress. These are the silent achievers. They do not speak loudly. They do not chase validation. They do not waste their precious energy trying to impress the world. Instead, they are driven by a quiet fire, a determination so fierce that it does not need to be heard to be felt. There is a secret understood by those who consistently win, not just occasionally, but over and over again. They know that talking about goals is not the same as pursuing them. They know that announcing intentions does not create change. Only action does. It is easy to say what you want. It is easy to tell others your plan. The world will listen for a moment, maybe even applaud, but applause fades. Talk fades. What remains, what always remains, is what you build with your own two hands. In your own life, you may have had times when you spoke with great excitement about your future. You painted beautiful pictures with words, of success, of change, of victory, and maybe, for a brief time, those words felt like progress. But what followed? Were they backed by discipline? Were they followed by action? Or did they fade into the noise of life like so many unfulfilled promises? This is the difference between the talkers and the doers. The silent achievers do not rely on the temporary satisfaction of being heard. They are too busy building something real. You must understand that every moment you spend explaining what you're going to do is a moment lost from actually doing it. The world does not owe you success because you've declared your intentions. It does not reward words. It rewards results. The individual who wins is not always the loudest, the most outgoing, or the most charismatic. The one who wins is the one who wakes up early and takes action while others are still asleep. The one who sacrifices comfort for growth. The one who works in the shadows, knowing that one day the light will find them. Not because they chased it, but because they earned it. There is power in holding back your words and channeling that energy into movement. There is strength in keeping your head down and doing the work while others seek attention. There is wisdom in knowing that real progress doesn't need to be announced. It will be seen. It will be felt. It will become undeniable. Every great achievement in this world was first an idea, but it did not remain as mere thought. It was followed by consistent, focused, and often uncelebrated work. The great inventions, the greatest works of art, the strongest businesses, the most inspiring lives, all were born in silence, nurtured through discipline, and revealed through action. The achiever did not stop to explain every step. They simply moved, day after day, failure after failure, until the world could no longer ignore what they had built. This is the formula of the silent achievers. Fewer words, more doing. Fewer promises, more delivery. Less attention on appearance, more focus on substance. They do not ask, "How do I look while I build?" They ask, "How strong can I make the foundation?" They do not waste time convincing others of their worth. They spend time becoming worthy. And when they arrive, they do not need a grand announcement. Their success speaks in volumes louder than any words ever could. There is a purity in this path. It is free from the distractions of ego. It is rooted in purpose. It is humble but not weak. It is quiet but not passive. It is still but unstoppable. The silent achiever moves with clarity, with intention. They do not fear failure because they are not performing for an audience. Their victories are internal first, measured not in likes or praise, but in personal growth, in the satisfaction of becoming who they were meant to be. You too can choose this path. You can decide today that your life will not be measured by what you say, but by what you do. You can begin to value movement over noise. When others are quick to post, to boast, to announce their dreams, you can retreat to your space of creation and start building. You can stop seeking approval and start seeking mastery. You can let each day become a brick in the foundation of your future, placed not with noise, but with skill and focus. You will begin to see the change. You will find peace in the silence. You will find joy in small victories that no one else notices because you will know what they mean. You will feel your confidence rise, not because others praise you, but because you are becoming someone you can respect. You are keeping promises to yourself. You are growing, and that growth will not need a spotlight. It will shine on its own. Let your life be the proof. Let your work be the message. Let your character be the voice that others hear. In time, they will ask how you did it, and you will not need to explain. You will simply smile because you know. You know the early mornings, the late nights, the setbacks, the doubts, the discipline. You know that it was never about talking. It was always about showing up every day in silence with purpose. So walk forward with confidence. Let your silence become your power. Let your actions be your loudest voice. And remember, the world may not notice you today. It may not applaud your effort, but keep going. Because one day your results will stand tall, and when they do, they will say everything that needs to be said. There is a kind of strength in this world that does not shout. It does not demand attention, does not boast or compete for the spotlight. It is calm, composed, and deeply rooted. It is the quiet confidence of those who know who they are and where they are going. These are the individuals who walk through storms with their heads held high, who move toward their goals with an unwavering focus, and who, despite all odds, keep moving forward, not because they are loud, but because they are sure. This quiet confidence is not something given by the world. It is not granted through titles, money, or applause. It is earned through discipline. It is built in the unseen moments, in the decisions made when no one is watching, in the countless times you choose effort over ease, growth over comfort, and integrity over approval. It is developed through self-trust, the unshakable belief that you can rely on yourself to do what needs to be done, regardless of the circumstances. In your life, you will come across challenges that test your spirit. There will be moments of doubt, of delay, of discouragement. The road to your greatest goals will not be smooth. It will demand sacrifices, resilience, and above all, a sense of inner conviction that does not need outside validation. This is where quiet confidence becomes your most valuable asset. To master this art is to understand that real power lies not in how you appear, but in how you respond. It is the ability to stand tall when others shrink. It is the wisdom to remain still when chaos surrounds you. When others panic, the quietly confident remain composed. When others rush to be seen, they focus on what matters. And in time, they outlast, they outperform, and they outshine, because their strength comes from within. This confidence is not built on arrogance. It is not about thinking you are better than others. It is about knowing that you are better than your excuses. It is about choosing faith in your process over fear of failure. It is about knowing that you may not be the loudest voice in the room, but your actions, your discipline, and your commitment will do the speaking for you. You must become the kind of person who does not need to announce every intention. Let your progress do the talking. You do not need to prove yourself to anyone. The goal is not to impress others, but to become someone you're proud of when you look in the mirror. That kind of pride is quiet. It doesn't show off. It doesn't need permission. It simply is. Think of the greatest goals you've ever dreamed of achieving. They are not small dreams. They are not ordinary tasks. They are the kind of visions that scare and excite you at the same time. These dreams require more than talent. They require more than motivation. They require a mindset, one that is steady, focused, and resilient. Quiet confidence is that mindset. It is the inner fire that says, I may not be there yet, but I will be. I may not know all the answers, but I will figure them out. I may fall, but I will rise. I may face setbacks, but I will not stop. This voice inside you becomes stronger every time you keep a promise to yourself. Every time you finish what you start. Every time you take one more step, even when no one notices. You do not need to broadcast your journey. You do not need to seek applause for every effort. Let your dedication be enough. Let your own standards drive you. That is the difference between those who chase goals and those who conquer them. Chasers need the world to push them. Conquerors are fueled by purpose. They are driven by a mission so personal, so powerful, that they will keep moving through silence, through failure, through fatigue. As you master quiet confidence, you begin to realize that comparison becomes meaningless. You no longer need to measure your progress against someone else's success. You stop worrying about timelines and begin trusting the process. You find peace in your pace. You understand that the journey is yours and that your focus must be on growth, not on how fast others are moving, not on how loudly they speak, but on how deep your roots grow. In relationships, in business, in health, and in personal development, this mindset gives you an edge. Because while others are distracted by noise, you are anchored in vision. While others seek to be heard, you seek to deliver. And while others rely on motivation, you rely on discipline. There will be days when no one claps for you, days when you question your path, days when it feels like your efforts go unseen. But remember, the seed grows in silence. It takes time for roots to form before anything breaks the surface. If you quit during the silent phase, you never see the harvest. Quiet confidence is what keeps you watering the soil, even when there's no visible growth. And then the breakthrough comes, not with fireworks or fanfare, but with undeniable results. The world begins to notice. They see the strength, the transformation, the accomplishments. They ask, where did this come from? And you'll smile because you know. You know it came from early mornings, from quiet nights, from turning down distractions, from choosing consistency over comfort. You know it came from trusting yourself when no one else understood your vision. That is how you conquer big goals, not by shouting about them, not by waiting for someone to believe in you, but by believing in yourself and taking the next step again and again, until one day you arrive. So today, walk forward with that quiet fire in your heart. You don't need to announce your greatness. You don't need permission to grow. You don't need applause to move. All you need is that inner decision that from this moment forward you will act with purpose, with focus, with strength that doesn't need to be loud. Because the most powerful people in the world are not always the ones in the spotlight. They are the ones behind the scenes, building, growing, evolving. Their lives become the proof. Their success becomes the voice. Their results become the legacy. Let that be you. Let your life speak so powerfully that no words are needed. Let your journey be the inspiration. Let your quiet confidence be the force that carries you to every goal you dare to dream. There is a great misunderstanding in the world today. Many believe that silence is a sign of fear, of weakness, or of uncertainty. They think that to be powerful, one must always speak, always respond, always declare their presence. But the truth is the exact opposite. In the lives of the truly strong, silence is not absence. It is strategy. It is a deliberate, focused state of control. It is a higher level of thinking and discipline that few ever reach. Silence is not the void of expression. It is the channel through which real power flows. In your life, there will be moments when you will feel the urge to defend yourself, to speak up, to prove something to someone, and often doing so might bring momentary satisfaction. But lasting power, real personal growth, is not found in reacting to every comment or criticism. It is found in your ability to hold your ground without making noise. The strongest people are not the ones who make the biggest scenes. They are the ones who don't flinch when tested. They have mastered their emotions, their energy, and their response. You must understand this deeply. Silence is not passive. It is not surrender. It is controlled power. When a strong person chooses silence, it is not because they have nothing to say, but because they understand that not everything deserves a reaction. They are playing a longer game, one that does not require approval or applause. They are not interested in drama. They are focused on destiny. In your journey, learn to value silence as your ally. Use it to think before acting. Use it to listen and absorb, to observe and understand. The one who speaks less often sees more. The world is filled with noise, social media, conversations, debates. Everyone wants to be heard. But amidst the chaos, the one who remains silent gains the clearest vision. They are not distracted by the need to respond. They are tuned into a frequency of growth and purpose that noise cannot touch. When you embrace silence as your strategy, you begin to build strength that cannot be shaken by outside forces. You become less reactive and more intentional. You no longer need to explain your dreams because you are busy building them. You no longer seek validation because you validate yourself through action. You no longer chase acceptance because you are already grounded in who you are. It takes strength to stay silent when you are misunderstood. It takes maturity to remain calm when others expect you to break. It takes courage to stand still in a storm, knowing that the storm will pass and you will remain. That is the power of silence. It reveals your character not to others but to yourself. It shows you what you're made of. It forces you to dig deeper, to find stability not in noise but in your own internal compass. Silence allows you to grow in secret. While others are announcing every step, you are quietly mastering your craft. While others are arguing about what's possible, you are proving it through results. The world does not need to see your process. Let them see your progress when it's undeniable. Let your silence build something so powerful that one day your presence alone commands respect without a single word spoken. There is great wisdom in knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. A wise person listens more than they speak. They ask questions, not to reply, but to understand. They use silence not to withdraw, but to sharpen their mind and preserve their energy. That energy is then channeled into meaningful action, focused work, and disciplined progress. In your own life, start using silence as a shield, not to hide behind, but to protect your peace. You do not need to engage in every argument. You do not need to react to every opinion. You do not need to explain yourself to people who are not willing to understand you. Save your words for what matters. Let your energy go toward creation, not confrontation. People will test your silence. They will assume you are weak, indifferent, or unsure. Let them assume. That is part of the strategy. You are not here to convince the world. You are here to conquer your goals. And when the results begin to show, their assumptions will fade, because silence backed by strength always wins in the end. This strategy is especially important when you are building something new. Whether it's a business, a relationship, a skill, or a new version of yourself, there will be temptation to announce, to prove, to declare progress. But understand this: the most successful transformations happen in private. The most powerful breakthroughs happen in the silence of early mornings and late nights. They happen in quiet discipline and unnoticed consistency. That is where real success is born. Think of a seed planted in the earth. It does not shout for attention. It does not make noise as it pushes through the soil. It grows in silence, in darkness, in patience. And one day it breaks through the surface, not to prove anything, but because it was destined to. That is how your life should unfold, not in response to pressure, but in alignment with your purpose. Not for approval, but because of your own commitment to grow. You must become comfortable with being underestimated. Let them overlook you. Let them assume you're not capable. Do not rush to correct them. Use your silence as a motivator. Keep working. Keep evolving. Keep moving forward. One day they will look back and wonder how you did it, and you will not need to explain. Your silence will have already told the story. This kind of strength is rare, but it is within you. It is not something you must search for outside. It is something you build every time you choose stillness over chaos, focus over noise, purpose over pride. The more you develop this inner power, the less you will be shaken by the world around you. In your life, become a master of silence. Let it become your strength, your discipline, your weapon. Let it give you the space to think clearly and act powerfully. Let it protect your dreams, your peace, and your energy. And let your actions, when they finally speak, be so loud that no words are needed. Because the strongest people are not the ones who talk the most. They are the ones who walk with calm certainty, knowing exactly where they are going, and letting their silence carry them there with grace, focus, and unstoppable power. So, as you walk forward from this moment, remember the true strength lies not in how loudly you speak, but in how boldly you act. Let your silence be filled with purpose. Let your actions become your voice. While others are distracted by noise, stay committed to your path. Build in silence, grow with discipline, win with quiet confidence. And when your results finally speak, they will echo louder than any words ever could. You don't need to be the loudest in the room. You just need to be the most focused. Speak less, do more, win big. The power is within you.